want.
Okay, I think we're preparing to live stream now. So today is Tuesday, May 31st. It's 10 a.m. and my name is Christina Dillabo. I'm the Director of Communications for the Desert Southwest Conference. Welcome to Tuesday Talks. We've got a bunch of stuff, so let's dive right in. The first item that I want to cover is about the annual conference mission project. I have shared information about this before, but just please remember to send in your project totals to Billie Fidlin at bfidlin@dscumc.org by June 3rd, and the offering to Randy Bowman at rbowman@dscumc.org by June 30th. We've got the two mission projects. One is for the Tongan relief efforts, and the other one is for scholarships for DACA students. And I'll include a link about where details are about the annual conference mission projects in the follow-up email. Okay, so the annual conference photo contest. This is one of the items that made it through for fun at annual conference. And technically, I think this is going to be fun even before annual conference. I realize there's not a whole lot of time before annual conference begins. So whatever you submit for the photo contest, it doesn't have to be a brand new photo. It could be a photo that you've taken a couple years ago or whatever. There's 4 photo categories, and we'll have prizes for each category. The prizes are to be named. I have them all, but I kind of want to build some suspense. But one of them is a Mevo camera. So all of the prizes are intended to impact your church's digital ministry. So I hope you're excited about that. And so the categories are diversity of God's people, doing God's work, ministry in your community, and seeing God on each face. So those are the 4 categories, and we'll have prizes for each one. You'll be able to turn in your photos for the contest by emailing communications@dscumc.org. You can also use the hashtag DSACFun, and I'll be looking through that to grab photos that didn't come through my email account. So please share the invitation. I'll include a little blurb that you can add in your church communications so that other members, not just the members to annual conference, but anyone can participate in this photo contest. So the prizes are intended to impact your church's digital ministry, but we're not necessarily restricting it to whatever your church. If you belong to a church, then that prize belongs to your church. I think what we're trying to do is encourage everyone to publish photos, and some of these photos are going to be used for the website. It could be for future communication publicity. So please be sure that the photos are taken with permission. So if you took a photo in a public setting during a mission, whatever that you were doing, that's totally okay. The times where you really need to ask for photo permission is if you were at someone's home and maybe you're working on a church project there and you take a picture of everybody. Please make sure that you have their permission to send in that photo, as it will be used for publicity, potentially will be used for publicity later on. And if you're looking for a photo release form, I will also include that in the follow-up email from today's Tuesday Talks. Let me write myself a note, release form. Okay, questions about that? No, okay. Next item is the annual conference live stream. So I've shared this before, but just about anything at all that you need for annual conference, you're going to find it at dscumc.org/AC. We'll have the live stream there for the plenary sessions and the worship services. We won't have the live stream for the clergy session because that's a closed meeting, but I believe that we will be able to have the laity session live stream embedded there as well. I'm still working on confirming that piece. But if any of your friends, church members, whoever that wants to join the laity session, they are welcome to register and join us. It's going to be via Zoom, and the registration is available at, you guessed it, dscumc.org/AC. All right, so yeah, so you can include that same link in your church communications if you're trying to tell people about, if you want to watch the special ordination service, the memorial service, or any of the plenary, maybe whatever the situation may be, use that link, dscumc.org/AC. If you go to it right now, it doesn't look like there's anything embedded on there other than all the stuff you need to register and prepare for annual conference. But that's the page where we'll be updating and adding the new embed information so that you can see the live stream there. Some of these things are also going to be live streamed on YouTube, but those are more complicated links and they're not available yet. So just send them to the dscumc.org/AC and they'll be able to watch it just fine there. Okay, next. Oh, do I have any questions about that? Okay. Next item is the annual conference Zoom information. So I mentioned the laity session that you'll need to register for that, but all voting members of the annual conference will be, that selected online participation will be receiving the Zoom information for annual conference plenary sessions. They'll get it, I think it's June 6th, and then of course they'll get a reminder message with the Zoom information the morning of annual conference. For the laity session, all laity that are registered will receive the Zoom information for the laity session, and they'll get the reminder on June 8th, which is the day of the laity session. And I believe clergy will also be automatically getting their Zoom information as well. Questions about that? Okay. Next item. So for the in-person annual conference participants, I normally have tech support volunteers, and that was when we had an app going on. So it's a little bit more complicated, but this year, we really don't need a whole lot of tech support, but I still need volunteers to help and kind of walk around, roam the room. If you're going to be there in person and you're maybe not one of the voting delegates, those are the people that I need to be tech support volunteers. And it's not as complicated as it sounds. It's very basic tech support. It's things like helping people connect to the Wi-Fi. And of course, I'll provide the tech support volunteers with all the information they need to be able to provide these types of support helps. So helping people get connected to the Wi-Fi, helping people open up an internet browser, helping people type in the URL to get to the voting platform, and showing them where to click to use the Get Recognized form, and maybe even staying with them a little bit to make sure they were able to submit the form properly on their own. So the tech support volunteers I need quite a few people to be roaming around during the 10 minutes of the first day of annual conference. Around 10 a.m. is when we're going to do a voting practice. After that, I'll still need some support volunteers, but you won't necessarily need to be roaming around for the whole plenary session. I'll have a table in the back where you can sit with me at the communications table, and then just help go to tables when people raise a colored card because they need help. Part of why I don't think we need as many people later on is because we're also going to encourage everyone that's at annual conference seated at the round tables to help each other out. Like if you were able to figure out how to get to the voting platform and someone at your table is having a hard time, just reach over and help them out. And so I think that we'll be able to help each other enough where we don't really need that many tech support volunteers. But just in case, it could be a whole table of people that I can't imagine be a whole table of people that need help, but maybe. Questions about that?
So I'm a voting member, but I'm happy to help with that. So it doesn't take that long to vote. So I'm
Yeah,
happy to help with that.
okay, thank you. Especially, I'm glad you said that, Sherry. So one of the reasons why I was saying like I didn't want to call on voting members to come and help was just because voting members need to be paying attention to what's going on during the practice. Though, especially if you're voting on your phone, you easily could follow along, walk around, do your voting, and then you did it. So now you can walk around and help out. So thank you so much, Sherry. I will take you up on that. So keep that in mind in case anybody's interested. I'll create a little blurb for you for that as well, so that volunteers know who to contact. That would be me, and what that commitment looks like. Okay. Next item, tech support. Oh, okay. So the last item is about a Google Sheet with content links. So when I first started doing Tuesday Talks, I used to share my screen to show you a Google Sheet that has like all sorts of general church agencies and Desert Southwest Conference committees in the columns. And then across this way, it was dates and names of different significant events. So could be about, well, right now with the gun violence that has happened recently, we might have a link from the gun violence committee. It's not just gun violence, it's gun violence awareness task force, and maybe to one of their recent resources, or if they had something coming up. So you would follow the column and row and click on the link, and you'd find their resources that you could use at your church. But it could be other things too. And so I'll go ahead and share my screen just to remind you of what I'm talking about. Okay. Screen. Okay, so hopefully this looks kind of familiar for those of you that have been with us from the very beginning. This is what that looks like. And you can see, I mean, the dates are 2021. Sometimes we had stuff that was very dated, and that was just because that's the only content I could find for Ecumenical Sunday. But I haven't really worked on this in a while. So I'm sure there's brand new stuff available, but so I don't know if this is something that I should keep going with it or not. It didn't seem like it was getting a whole lot of traffic at first, so I kind of let it go. Other things that are on the same Google Sheet are links to trainings that were happening at the time. So you could find, like we were doing a lot of YouTube trainings. And then I'd also include copy that I was using for social media posts about the different items that, and then let me see here. Yeah, you could see when I was using them. Did I have anything else in there? No, I guess that's it. So I could keep this updated if you guys think it's helpful, useful, if you might want to use it down the road. That's where I wanted to just hear from you guys. See, have you ever used it? Do you think it's necessary?
I'm interested in hearing myself from everybody else here too, if they're using that. I didn't even know that existed, which I wish I had known that existed, but I think it's important to get that out to people that are coming, because you've got new people that will be coming to the conference, and giving them, one of the things I wanted to bring up that I'll bring up with my team is having a resource page, even though it's old school, to print it out and give that resource page to people there. You can also give them a link on that page then where to be able to go to for some of this other stuff. I just think it's important because people have rolled over in your different positions and all that kind of stuff. And I think there's a lot of valuable information that somebody may not even know how to hunt for it or find it. So that's from my own position anyway. I don't know how Chris feels about that. Somebody in the field that would be using that, or Jim.
I knew that was there, but I haven't used it recently. So
I did use it at the beginning a couple times. I feel like it's a lot of work for the benefit, if that makes sense. I didn't necessarily always find what I was looking for. But it seems like it's a lot to keep up. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, that's helpful. Jessica, did you ever get a chance to use it? Or had you seen it? Maybe it's brand new for you.
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, I didn't even know that was available actually.
Okay.
So
Do you think that it's something, since you had a quick little preview, do you think it's something that you would want to, have access to and check out once in a while?
I would, yes, I think it looks pretty informative.
Okay, well,
Christina, I'm wondering if maybe you might need to put a reference to it in your script, like the script that you do in the beginning. Just remind people that it's there. It
Yeah.
might help for questions that people have during the week.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I will do that. So I'll just keep it up. It's something that I was actually using to help keep me in order of, okay, what's coming up? What do I need to prepare for Tuesday talks? And because I was doing that, then it's like, well, I might as well just clean it up a little bit and share it with everybody. But it just seemed slightly redundant because I was also sharing in my email specifically for right now, here's what's coming up. But the idea with sharing everything that I have was that, or everything that I came across and added in that Google sheet, is the reality that I don't know what every church's schedule is like. Some churches might be working a month in advance for their newsletter and need content right now, or maybe they're going on vacation or something else is coming up. And to be able to see what's coming down the pike can be really helpful. So that was the idea with that. But the tough part is, it's not like, I add things as soon as when I was keeping it up, and I will go back to that. I would add things as soon as I found it. Like if I got an email notification from one of the general agencies about it, or even just a heads up that this is coming pretty soon, then I'd add information that, coming soon, and then I'd add the link when it was available. The downside is, it's not like if those resources really are always available months in advance. Sometimes it's like a week before. And so I know it's frustrating for churches because it's frustrating for me, and because it's tough to use this stuff when it's so last minute, but I guess it's better late than never, and not all churches are using these things on the exact same time frame. So I'll keep it up. I'll go ahead and start updating it again, and I'll include the link. I'll just start including the link in the Tuesday Talks script, like Carla said. And right now you'll still see some outdated stuff, but I'll keep updating it, and hopefully you'll find what you need. And if you ever go to that and don't find what you're looking for, please email me and ask me about it, because I might have not been thinking about the angle that you're looking at. And maybe I know, oh yeah, that resource is available here. And then I can add that to that spreadsheet as well. So I think that's all I had. Let me see here, double check. Yep, the Google Sheet was the last item. So thank you everyone for joining me. Unless there's any questions, comments, concerns, I'll bid you all farewell. Okay, and have a great rest of your week.